Hello there.
It finally happened. After what seems like years of rumors and speculating, it was finally announced at the D23 Expo last night that Ewan McGregor will be returning to reprise his role as fan favorite Obi-Wan Kenobi in an upcoming Disney Plus series. Now, I, as somebody who grew up with the prequels and haven't been a huge fan of what Disney had been doing with Star Wars in recent years, I am absolutely ecstatic that this news came out last night. And I honestly believe that Star Wars is going to continue on this upward trend, starting with The Mandalorian, which the trailer dropped last night at the D23 Expo as well, and it looked absolutely awesome. I'm so excited for it to drop on November 12th of this year. I'm going to binge watch it all immediately. After that, we have The Rise of Skywalker releasing in theaters about a month after The Mandalorian, and as I mentioned, I'm not a huge fan of what Disney had been doing with Star Wars in the past, except for Rogue One. I did really enjoy Rogue One, but I honestly believe that all hands were on deck in order to redeem Disney and what they did with The Last Jedi, and I think there's some really awesome things in store for us in Episode 9. Aside from those two, we also know that we're getting the highly anticipated video game Jedi Fallen Order, which I will be covering on this channel when it releases. I'm super excited for that. And we're also getting another Disney Plus series starring Diego Luna as Cassian Andor. Now, all of these things have sparked quite a bit of interest and have given fans hope that their beloved franchise will be in better hands than it has in years past. But now that it was announced that Ewan McGregor will be returning as fan favorite Obi-Wan Kenobi, it really just puts a cherry on top and showing us that Disney does really care about what the fans want. So I really think it is a great time to be a Star Wars fan right now, and I think it's only going to continue to get better. So in a minute, I'd like to take a deeper look into this Obi-Wan series, but before we do that, if you haven't seen it already, I'd like to show you guys the footage of the announcement made at the D23 Expo. It was just way too epic not to share. I'm sure you have probably seen it because there's videos flooded of it all over Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, but if you haven't, here it is right here.
So, before leaving, we do have one more announcement. After secrets and fibs and not being able to talk about it, I am thrilled to bring out a beloved member of the Star Wars family. Music swells.
Kathleen, can you ask me in front of all of these people, all of these witnesses, can you please ask me, am I going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again?
Ewan?
Yes?
Are you going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi again?
Yes. It's been 4 years of saying, well, I don't know, we've been talking, or maybe if they call me, I'd be happy. But now I can say, yes, we're going to do it.
And I will also tell you, we are really close. We have all the scripts written. We are ready to start shooting next year. We could not be more excited. So, can't wait to start production. When we have our own.
I've literally probably watched every single video on the internet from this announcement, every single camera angle, probably 100 times over. I was just so excited when I heard that this was announced. And as you heard there, Kathleen Kennedy also stated at the end that they already finished the scripts and are beginning filming next year. So this is coming pretty soon, guys, and I could not be more excited. So as to when in the Star Wars timeline this show will take place, my bet is that it's going to be after Revenge of the Sith, before A New Hope, because really any other point in time just really wouldn't make sense. Now, as for the plot of this show and possible cameos by other characters in the Star Wars universe, that is much more open for interpretation. Probably the thing that's speculated the most amongst fans to this point is the return of Darth Maul. Apparently the actor who plays Darth Maul, Ray Park, has really been getting into shape recently, and some people speculate that it's because he's returning to this role. His last appearance as Darth Maul was actually only a year ago in Solo, a Star Wars story, but his appearance was only a cameo at the end of the film, and fans have been speculating that there has to be more to it, otherwise they wouldn't have brought him back just for nothing. So an appearance in the Obi-Wan series might make sense, especially considering that Obi-Wan and Darth Maul, if you've seen the Clone Wars and Rebels, are lifelong enemies. And since Obi-Wan is sheltered away on Tatooine, or at least he will be at the beginning of this series, which he himself has described as a wretched hive of scum and villainy, I think it would be really cool to see some characters that we know that have been there or have hung out there, such as Jabba the Hutt, Boba Fett, Greedo, Dengar, Bossk, characters like that don't really have an allegiance to the light or the dark, that sort of just go about business as they please. I also think it'd be cool if we saw young Luke, or even young Leia if Obi-Wan had to travel off-world at some point, and maybe saw Bail Organa as well. Seeing live-action versions of Ahsoka, Ventress, or Captain Rex would also be really cool too. Not quite sure if that would fit into canon. I don't know if there's any contradictions there, but if not, I think it would be really cool. Another really cool thing I think would be to see a Force Ghost version of Qui-Gon Jinn. As we know, Obi-Wan's supposed to be continuing his training while he's holed up on Tatooine. Yoda mentioned at the end of Revenge of the Sith that his old master, Qui-Gon Jinn, had learned how to come back from the afterlife, so his appearance in this series is possible. Another Jedi that I think would be awesome to see in this series would be Mace Windu, although I think it would be pretty unlikely that Disney would pay up for Sam Jackson just to be in a TV series. However, he actually has been asking to return as Mace for some time, so who knows? And being that Darth Maul was cut in half and fell down a hole and still somehow survived, it's not impossible to believe that Mace could have survived his fall in Revenge of the Sith. Now, two other characters that I think would be really interesting to see in this series aren't specific characters, as they are character roles, one of which would be a possible love interest for Obi-Wan, maybe creating some sort of lineage to Rey being his granddaughter, or him potentially taking on a Padawan student before Luke's of age, potentially even like Chira Imwe from Rogue One. Now, there are so many different possibilities as to what the plot of this series could be, so there's really no guessing as to which direction they're going to take. But if I had to take a stab at it, or at least give a guess as to maybe a basic layout of the plot, my guess is that it would start off on Tatooine because we know he's there keeping a careful eye over Luke, and then maybe something during the one time that he's there takes him off-world and makes him leave Luke. He doesn't want to leave Luke, but maybe something out there is significant enough to the point where he's forced to. But I don't know. I could be completely wrong. All I know is that Ewan McGregor is returning to the Star Wars universe as Obi-Wan Kenobi, so I am super excited. But that's about it for today's video. Let me know down in the comments below, are you as excited as I am that this Obi-Wan series is happening? What do you think might happen in this series? And what characters do you think might make appearances in it? If you liked today's video, feel free to give me a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.